This podcast airs 2026. We are interviewing real people with real stories. Today's guest is Matt Dillingham. He's a United States Marine Corps veteran. Matt Dillingham, he's a former Marine. He served from 2006 to 2012. While in the Marine Corps, he graduated with a degree in family studies from the University of Maryland at College Park. Though he did not follow through with his major after college, that choice of that major started his journey of self-development, which led him to the world of credit. Now, Matt is a spiritual person, and that everything is energy, and that to change one's life is simply changing your energy within and filling out the emotions that come for you. He is currently the COO, and that's the Chief Operating Officer at A1 Solutions Group. And he enjoys teaching people not just about how credit works, but how the power of credit can change one's financial reality for the better. And we have to do a disclaimer here, and that is Matt is not a certified financial advisor or U.S. securities dealer or stockbroker or investment advisor. He's a business consultant acting in the capacity of a financial intermediary who provides advice to private individuals on or about business matters. And with that said, I'm going to give you a moment to grab your pen and your paper. Matt Dillingham, welcome to Living the Dream. Now, what we always like to do, Matt, before we get down into the weeds, and that is we always like to ask our guests to tell us about yourself.
Well, did the intro. It's not much to say. That's it. I'm good. That's all you know about me. That's it. Podcast over. We're good. As far as that goes, you want to know more about me? Are you? The question is, are you sure? It's like, I don't know. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, yeah. I've had a. Geez, what do you want to know? I like to run. I'm big on running. People think that's like the most horrible thing in the world. I used to think the same thing too until I started doing it in high school and cross country. So that is, if running were a drug, that would be my drug of choice. Put it lightly. I enjoy long walks on the beach. Not really. I like being at the beach though. One thing I've learned about myself is that I guess through the years, I'm really passionate about helping people in whatever capacity I guess I could help them out with in that sense. And kind of like how I got into the credit space, and now we'll talk more about it in the coaching space as well. So I'm from Maryland originally, reside in Virginia now, been here about 6 years. I like being around people, helping people, like making people laugh. I got a lot of energy, and just that's just who I am. That's it. So.
All right. Well, first I want to start out with saying thank you for your service, Matt.
Thank you.
Marine Corps. I was a Navy corpsman, so I was on the green side. So
yeah. So yeah, you're a Doc. That's right, Doc. You're the cool one. We need you badly.
Well, our listening audience, several of our listening audience, really need you. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go into how did you get started, as far as in the financial credit or financial services instructing, the instruction part of it.
Got you. I'll start off with this. You don't choose credit repair; it chooses you. Because think about it. Who in your life, any child said, you know what? I don't grow up one day and help fix people's credit. Says no one ever, unless they're being raised by their mom or dad who's actually in credit repair. But to back it up further than that, I first got involved in the financial industry. What year was it? In like, actually, no, before that, it was really in 2012. And I started with insurance, life insurance, and didn't do so well with that as far as just the leads we had the leads they had us calling was like leads that had filled out a lead form about life insurance. They'd forgotten about it, and basically you're just cold calling, and it's pretty rough. They made you work through those before they started giving you like actually freshly opted in people who said, hey, I do life insurance, please contact me. Then I got into it through was an employee for a place that still around today that sells small business loans as merchant cash advances. And so that's when I started my journey into the financial industry and learning about businesses, really how they operate, how they do need capital, they do need loans, and that when they don't access to that, it makes growth and just staying in business kind of difficult. Especially since at the time the banks had like tightened the lending, and so that was time around right after the 2008 financial crisis. And then the further taken on from there, I had prior to that, while I was in the Marine Corps and in college, I discovered that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I've been down this entrepreneur journey of trying to find some vehicle of what am I going to use to work for myself full time, be it network marketing or life insurance, whatever it is. And this was in 2013. I was 27 years old, and I declared bankruptcy at 27, which was a very humbling experience for me at the time. I felt very embarrassed. I felt a lot of shame. At the same time, I felt a lot of relief. So I didn't really tell too many people about it. But at the same time, at the time that I did that, I got into credit repair, which was the best time to learn it and do at that point. And got involved, got certified, but I didn't do anything with it because I didn't feel confident in my ability to make it work. I had the resources I have now. I didn't network, none of that stuff. So I felt very scared telling people, hey, I can fix your credit. Let's look at it. Let's look at a credit report and break it down and say, hey, you take care of this, we'll take care of that, and your score will go up. And then, then within 6 months or whatever, you can get the house or whatever you want. And so I kind of went in, got back into it again, into small business funding again, because I got fired from the place I was, and I got with a guy locally who was a broker, so he's working out of his home. I did too. I was trying to figure out a way to, like, at that time, okay, how do I continue my income? Because if you're going to broker small business loans for yourself, you need a constant amount of leads coming in to submit, because more get declined and then get approved. And the thing that I noticed when I was talking to the business owners, I would contact them, was cold calling them, and they would say, look, is this going to be some merchant cash advance? I'm like, yeah. And they would say, I don't want to have that. And I'm like, well, what's your credit score? And they would say, oh, it's a 5 something or a 600. And I'm like, well, how do you expect to get a term loan or a loan from the bank or anything better if you're not going to change that? You're just going to start with these high rate merchant cash advances. So at the time, I was affiliated with another credit repair company, and I started sending business left and right. And I was telling people, hey, look, I can get you loans, but this credit has to come up. You can build your business credit. I started doing that. Boom, boom, boom. And then I stopped again because I was like, I didn't have a list of leads. I didn't know network, generate leads, all that stuff. So I stopped, went back to work. And then 2018, I got back into small business funding again, not intentionally. I met a guy who had opportunity offered to me. And I was like, oh, small business funding. I've done it before. Let's go for it. Then I just kind of unofficially moved to where I'm at in Virginia, and I was cold calling banks here locally where I'm at in Virginia, and then back home in Maryland. And the lady said, hey, let's meet in person. And we met in person, and she said, I like the fact that you can help out my clients. You can't get loans right now from us, but they can come to you. If the credit's too bad, I have a gentleman. His name is Mike Perez, and he can help you with your credit. I was like, cool. Him and I started talking, and fast forward, I ended up deciding to do the credit pair full time instead of the business funding and go forward with that. And that is really the start of my journey that up until now of being the instructor of. Because when I talk to someone, I talk to them and do their credit analysis with them. It's breaking down all the tiers of credit report again, like what do you have going on? What does this mean? What does that mean? You need to do this. We'll take care of that. And that led me to discovering more about I want to help people further beyond credit. Instead of saying, "Oh, I fixed your credit, great," it's like there's my inner being was like, "There's more needs to be done. You can do more." And again, I was like, for a while, how do I do that? Do I have the skills to help them out beyond? Like, what do I do? And so that's the start of it to where I am now.
Okay. Now, for those who are out there that may be a little confused about the difference between a financial advisor and a financial coach or consultant, could you break that down for
The
us?
best of my ability I can. I'm not a financial advisor in the sense of they to be licensed and to what is it to because I have a lot of financial advisors that I work with to sell you like some sort of like type insurance that are working the financial industry and in terms of stocks and trading and things like that. That I don't do. I don't do anything with stock market as far as telling people, oh yeah, pick this and trade this, securities, where the case may be. That's not what it is. As what I'm moved into is a financial coach in the capacity of help people with their credit. Because financial coaching can encompass both, but financial coaches are just sitting down and saying, well, look, let's look at your budget, your income, what debt you have, and crafting a plan or strategy to help you build up your cash reserves, help you get out of the debt, things like that. In my sense, I'm helping people with repairing their credit, teaching them how to leverage it, but also coaching them on not just credit but other challenges that they have in their life that go beyond finances or in outside of finances. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Okay, that was good right there. One other thing, and that is there is a difference between the business credit and their personal credit.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So here's the deal with personal credit and business credit, right? There are people who are in business. If you're a business owner listening to this, you have an EIN, and some people try to what's the word I'm looking for? They try to jump the gun or skip ahead and think, I'll build my business credit and therefore my personal credit won't matter. That is not true, and unfortunately, that's not the case. So let me back a little bit. So your personal credit is your social security number. That is given to you when you're born, and that's really just for for the government to find you and for taxes, right? Your EIN, which you also file to for the IRS, that functions just like your social. However, it's for business purposes, and you can build business credit with that. However, if you get into business and you have an LLC or a corporation, if you have the EIN number, right, that business has no history. It has nothing to go off of. So when you go apply for vendor trade lines, they're looking for a personal guarantee, right? So if there's nothing there to show, hey, this business has good history and can pay its vendors back, they had no choice but to look at your personal credit history, which would be a bit more telling, right? So if you're going to try to build business credit and get loans and credit cards, things of that nature, your personal credit is the foundation of everything. That has to be in order. It has to be in good standing. Otherwise, you're going to have a very tough journey in trying to get credit for business, get funding for it, because they're going to look at you and go, what are you doing? And here's a good example. It's kind of like, imagine if you're a banker, right? And a 10-year-old comes to you. 10-year-old's got a good business. The business is doing $20,000 a month, right? And the 10-year-old's like, hey, I need a loan of 200 grand. Now, the financials look good, but at the same time, this is a 10-year-old. Where's the credit history? How do you know that a 10-year-old can handle, a loan amount of 200,000? So what do? You look to the parent. The parent's got established work history, established credit history, everything, right? So that's what I was looked at when it comes to your personal credit and your business credit. When your business credit, when you're just starting out that in the beginning, it's like a child. Your personal credit is the parent, and they're going to look to that to say, okay, we can trust you with this loan or money or vendor trade line or whatnot. So eventually the goal of business credit to build that is to eventually have, all the things in the business, cars, credit cards, loans, things of that nature. You can even have, if you want to, have your mortgage underneath the business. This way, should anything happen with the business goes down, but your personal assets and everything else are still protected and keeps you separate. And unfortunately, this isn't taught to people. We're not taught this in life, and we are taught that your personal credit is everything. Everything has to be there, when that's further from the truth. Like, your personal credit is really level 1, and then business credit is level 2, and then you go up from there. So.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for that advice right there. Now, a question.
Yep.
What are some of the basic steps a person can take to begin to repair their credit?
Okay. So the first step is the hardest one for everybody, and I was there, and it's one that scares people the most. It's to one. It's not the sexiest answer either. The first step is you have to go get a copy of your credit report from all 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and actually look at it. That is the first step, and it's the hardest step for people, because when I did this, you're so afraid to look at it, and you're like, you make it this monster that it's not. You have to see it. Not only that, you have to learn how to read a credit report. You also have to understand to know all 4 tiers of credit report, which are 1, personal information, which contains your name, variations of it, aliases, your birth date, your phone number, your social, your current address, old addresses, then whatever employees you put down. Second tier are your hard inquiries. And by the way, those are very, very important, but people think they don't matter. They matter a lot. Third tier are the actual counts you have, okay? For this public record, which holds bankruptcies and judgments. What screws people up is that when they go to repair the credit, they think, okay, here's my score and here are my accounts. I just need to focus on the accounts, and all's going to be good. But that's the problem. By only focus on the accounts, you're only focus on 1/4 of your credit report. And when your credit report is pulled by a person or a machine, whatever, all 4 tiers of your credit report are being looked at. So if one tier is looking kind of funky, that's going to have an impact on you getting approved for whatever it is that you're going for. This could be a long one, but I'm trying to not make it too long, okay? I'm harping this. Out of all these 4 tiers, again, the personal information, hard inquiries, your accounts, and public record, out of all these 4 tiers, the one that you want to make sure is the most up-to-date is your personal information. I'm going to give you several reasons to why. Reason number 1 is this. In the case of you having to repair your credit, meaning you have to dispute the hard inquiries, late payments and collections and all that stuff, anything in the section of personal information that is old, outdated, and erroneous are attached to the negative items in your credit report. So meaning, if you're disputing a collection account with the bureaus, okay, because they're going to look at this personal information section to see what name and address is attached to the collection account, because years ago, stuff could happen, and then you could have an account go delinquent, right? And now you have the collection account. You also have a bunch of hard inquiries attached to you at this address you lived at. So look at the section, they'll come back and say, oh, it's verified it was you, but here's the problem with that. Number 1, how did they know it was you beyond shadow of a doubt? They don't. Number 2, I've had clients look at the section. They've had their names misspelled. I've had their name misspelled in the section. I had one client who had state highways as his aliases on there. I've had clients where they've had old addresses on there that they never lived at. They've had their home addresses be incorrect. Whole bunch of stuff, right? And the other thing too, again, remember, when you go to apply for stuff, especially at the bank, they're going to look at all 4 tiers, and they're going to look at that one section. And if you come and say, hey, my name is, John Smith, but you got John T. Smith or John Smitty Smith, a whole bunch of stuff going on, it makes you look fraudulent at worst, or at best, it makes you look a little bit shady, okay? Another thing about this section is that people don't realize that in this section, If your name is misspelled by just one letter, it basically makes everything else on your credit report fraudulent. The reason being is because the way you spell your name is you. The way someone else spells their name, even if they have the same name, is a whole different person on paper. For example, my full name is Matthew. I spell it with 2 T's, but some people name Matthew spell it with 1, or they may spell the ending with THE. IEU. I've seen that before, right? The other issue with that is that if you have someone else's name on your credit report, or someone's name that's similar to yours, but it's a different person that's still alive, you run the risk of having their negative items placed on your credit report. Continuing along with this section, you want to make sure your address, your current address, is correct amongst all 3 bureaus, because again, when you apply for credit, if you put down the wrong home address on the application, okay, you could be declined just because of that. Also, when you have old addresses on your file, there's a good chance someone else is living there. And if that person runs into financial difficulty, you could have their stuff placed on your credit report. Also, again, when it comes to repairing your credit, if you have stuff in collections, collection agencies will do anything illegal and shady to get money out of you. And this has been done before to people. When you have items in collections, if they're going to take you to court, they will intentionally have the court summons go to the old addresses on your credit report so you don't purposely get them. Why would they do that? Well, when they want to take you to court, they're trying to get that money from you, right? So in their defense, they can say, "Hey, Your Honor, we mailed the defendant. They didn't show up." Well, yeah, of course the defendant didn't show up, because they never got the court summons, because it went to an older address that they don't live at. And so because of that, guess what? You don't know about it, but the court summons was mailed to you. You get sued, and they get a default judgment in their honor, and I mean in their name. And so I've had clients be like, "Why am I getting sued? I didn't know about this." It happens. So you want to make sure getting section is very cleaned up. The other thing too is that when you do get the section cleaned up, by cleaned up I mean you have one name, the way it's listed on your social, one home address, one phone number, one social, one current address, no old addresses, and then one most updated employer. Doing this part can actually help boost your scores anywhere between 20 to 70 points by itself. So yes, so that's where you need to start at the very least, as far as that goes, and looking at also what's erroneous, what's old, what should be marked on time, what's marked late. Are the credit limits being reported correct? If you had disputed something before, did the bureaus notate that, hey, this count is in dispute? What else should they look at? Just some basic steps as far as it goes. But really, the first step is knowing what's on your file. Oh, I will say this to you as well. Repairing your credit is not just getting negative items deleted. That's like one half of it. The other half of it is knowing what your credit profile needs to grow and to grow and improve. Because there are people, I've got clients where I've looked at the credit report and all they have on there is nothing but negative items such as collection charge-offs, or they'll have collections and charge-offs and closed accounts. What this means is that when you go dispute that, and as you get stuff off, will your score go up? Yes. But if you have nothing that you're currently actively building, your score is going to stagnate, okay, and stay there. Or if you have nothing but negative accounts and you get all those deleted, you'll go to 0, which is a nice reset. But at the end of the day, you have to be actively building your credit as well. Okay. It's a long answer. There's more too as well. I could go on.
Okay. Well, here's another question, and that is there anything that they may be able to do? Is there a possibility of contacting the debtor or making an arrangement prior to going to court?
Yeah, they can. If you know you're behind on accounts and what you have going on, it's always advised, especially if they've been marked late with stuff, to contact your creditors and say, "Look, here's what I'm going through right now. What arrangements can be made beforehand?" And even if the account, well, let me say this too. If the account gets charged off, it'll say charged off on your credit report. You can contact your creditor and say, "Hey, look, I'm trying to make this right. What can be done?" And you can also ask for a pay for deletion, meaning, "Hey, let's agree to a settled amount, and once that's paid, you will then have this lead off my credit report. So that's that. Now, I will say this: when it comes to a debt collector, it's a whole different story. Um, you, I would recommend everyone, contact your creditor and say, "Look, I'm trying to make this work. What can and arrange, have a payment arrangement." When it comes to debt collector, though, that's a different ball game to go into, and I'll save that one for a little bit later when it comes to that. So,
Okay. And what are the advantages of having a financial coach versus trying to go it alone and making improving one's credit?
yeah, it saves you a lot of frustration, emotional pain, and it'll save you time. And let me add this caveat that regardless of what it is you're trying to do in life, where it be, improving your credit, changing your health, whatever it is, it's gonna take time to change it. However, when you have a coach that knows all the pitfalls and everything else, it can help you save more time and have it go by faster than if you do yourself. So it's kind of like you get in the car and you're gonna go 45 miles an hour to your destination. Having a coach, you could say, hey, we get this car to go 60 miles an hour, 65, and here's some shortcuts along the way, but boom, to get you there faster, right? That's the advantage in how, and also not only that, you get to take in their knowledge and also use the resource. You also use the resources that they have to help you out versus trying to go out yourself and having to do things by trial and error. You're trying to find stuff on YouTube. You could try this, and it just, you have no real direction. You have a goal, but they can set you straight on saying, "Hey, here's the end goal. Here's where you're at. Here's how to get from A to B in the fastest way possible. Here's the resources that I have. Use this, do this. Here's some check-in. Here's some accountability to make sure you stay on top of it." Because you yourself, unless you're like really, 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 really hell bent on getting done, you won't keep yourself accountable, and you won't make yourself do it because you'll go, well, I can wait and do it tomorrow, take a break. But it helps to have that extra accountability and person there to really, push you forward. And it's good to have someone on you, not on you, but be there for you and say, hey, good job, you did this. Like, look at how far you come to as well. Like, people don't understand that's just as important along with everything else. You need to have someone tell you, because you'll have moments where you'll be like, am I really going anywhere? I feel like I haven't changed much. And they can say, oh, no. Day one, you were this. This is day whatever. You are not the same person. You should be proud of yourself. And that's super important to hear.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that you had mentioned, and that is, as you told your story, that
Yeah.
how you stumbled into this career, your current career, was experiencing a lot of those pitfalls yourself and having to correct your own situation. So, in the process of doing that, it was painful. I would imagine.
Yeah. So people want to act like, oh, I'm going to change your life. I'm like, yeah, you're going to change your life, but you're going to go through some pain that is necessary of all the things you have not dealt with that will come up for you to deal with and be free of it and be liberated. Not just push it aside and try and change. Like, no. That has to be dealt with. And on the other side of those things that we don't want to deal with is where our true power is. That's where the joy is. That's what the peace is, right? But knowing how to navigate that, to be like, okay, this is rough, but once you get through, you're like, oh, you feel better, you feel happy, you feel like you've expanded and grown, and that's what I feel like. Even to this day, so many people right now with what's going on in the world don't see that, and it's like, no wonder so many people are unhappy with things, and you just got to know that, like, that's where your freedom and happiness is. It's on the other side of that. Through scary forest, not through the field of flowers and butterflies. That's a lie. This is where it's at. Let me tell you why. Hard tell, I know, but stay with me here. You know what I mean?
So sometimes you do have to leave that comfort zone in order to grow. And it was something I heard before, and that is coal is just a lump of coal, but under that pressure, it becomes a diamond. That's how it becomes a diamond, is through that pressure. So not putting your head in the sand thinking it's going to go away.
The rain will come at quicksand. It's gonna be fine. No, it's not how it works. If it did, the world would be a hell of a lot different place. Nope.
Okay. So those are some of the things right there you had mentioned
Mhm.
as far as the advantages of having a coach there. So that way you're not going it alone right there. Now, it's one of the other things you alluded to, and it's not a one and done.
Mhm.
So it's not okay, we've readjusted the sales, you're back where your credit score is leveling out and it's beginning to grow.
Yeah.
You continue to work with the individual.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So what people don't realize is that whether it be credit or trying to get healthy, paying off debt, money, we'll stick with the financial part because credit's financial and all that stuff, right? Your score gets up there and then you get the house, assuming you're first home buyer or whatever it is, right? The issue is that end of the day, credit repair is a band-aid and it's not addressing the root issues or the root causes of what's going on internally, right? And this is why you have some people that get the credit fixed and then they get what they want and then it slides back to where it was before, this time with the house where it is, or people that, get a bunch of money and they somehow spend it all and lose it and they're like, what did I do? Or, people that can't seem to lose weight or they lose weight and then gaining back plus some, right? And that deals with their what I've learned and realized through my own journey is your unconscious identity. And that is where the real work takes place. That's also where the real change takes place as well. Um, People may not understand like unconscious identity. I don't understand. Well, let's back it up. So you your unconscious mind starts sometime when you're in the womb, and then poof, you're born, right? And the thing people don't know, realize that your conscious mind doesn't kick in until about 5, 6 years old. So from the time before you're born and then when you're born, your unconscious mind's in control. And its sole goal is to keep you alive, whatever, right? And here's the thing. So while you're, from 0 to 4 or 5 years old, whatever, you're taking things unconsciously. You're unconsciously making decisions and beliefs about what you can have, what you can't have, what's safe, what's not, right? And the thing is, whether your environment growing up was like healthy or not the greatest, your unconscious mind goes, okay, I survived this. I need to seek to create more of this to survive. That's what happens. So when it comes to money and finances, everyone's had a different background, but we have all these beliefs about money from our parents. We also inherent beliefs from our parents and our grandparents and ancestors about money, what we can and cannot do, right? So that's all they're working in the background. Then we consciously, the conscious mind kicks in, and so we go along this world and we're trying to decide, okay, I want more of this, more money, I want more of that, blah blah blah. The problem is your unconscious mind is the one that's really in control. It's you make a lot of decisions unconsciously, right? And so to give you an example of how this works is that when you're trying to, let's just say, change credit, right? You want to improve your credit score. You're like, I want a new credit score so I can get the house, and therefore I believe I'll be good enough once I have these things. Your unconscious mind hears this and goes, whoa, 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 whoa. What is this fool doing? He wants to have better credit, a new house, all that stuff, and we have to be good enough. Um, we're not good enough. So in order for me to be good enough, that means I have to die. Nope. And so since the unconscious mind's job is to keep you alive, you'll have all this friction, this resistance unconsciously that makes it harder to take action and maintain stuff, right? And the dirty trick is that even if you do somehow overcome that, the unconscious mind is not going to let you. Is powerful. It's not going to lose. Okay. So if you do get what you want, your unconscious mind is going to go, nope, we can't have this. Nope, 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 and you'll lose it through self sabotage, or things will happen that you'll be like, how do I make this decision? What's going on? So your unconscious mind can get you back to what it knows that's safe for it. So you have to work on that, shifting an unconscious identity and knowing what's going on in the inside. But the thing is, you can't just sit there and go, well, let me sit here and talk about unconscious mind and think about it. You can't, because that's not the way it works. It's cut off from you on purpose. Two, the way the unconscious mind or the subconscious, okay, communicates is through emotion, something that a lot of people don't want to deal with, especially us men. Like behaviors, patterns, and symbols. Why you have dreams and like you have the craziest dreams, but that's your unconscious mind or subconscious mind speaking to you, right? So you have to learn how to work with that and train it to, and you do it through visualization. I don't say meditation, but really putting yourself at the end result of what you want. So the end result of having great credit, right? And getting into the emotion of having that great credit, where you have the house, you have everything you want because of your credit, and you're feeling good. And while you do that, you're training your unconscious mind to be like, oh wait, this is safe. We like this. This is a good thing, and you shift it over time. So what I help clients do is to shift that unconscious identity so that as they go for better credit and the other things that they want in their life, they can actually get it. This way they can create a life that they love by using their infinite power, which you all have. So that's what you have to do, because otherwise I'm doing you a disservice by hey, fix your credit, great, have a nice day, you're on your own, and then somehow you come back to me later on because we didn't take the time to address what really got you here. Make sense? Like let's work on that too as well. So this way you have the tools and resources to create a life you love and handle whatever life throws at you. So
Well, that was a lot, Matt, that you just laid on us right
yeah,
there. But
it's a lot.
that is valuable, very
Yeah,
valuable right there. Again, it's how do we want to manifest something, and it does begin first with that emotion. And
yep,
if we're emotional about things, especially we're emotional when we're buying stuff, you know. So
yeah,
sometimes our emotions are what get us into these hard predicaments from time to time. So we have to use the same amount of emotions, except rechannel them in order
yeah,
to get us out of these predicaments. Also,
yep, yep. You have to work with yourself, not against yourself. And unfortunately, too many of us are fighting ourselves. We're unaware of it. It's like, hold on, stop, chill out. Let's go within and go. Oh, and I can give you true stories of stuff that's come up for me that I wasn't anywhere. I had. I'll do a quick one. I had a session with a lady. Her name is Jen. She's awesome. Where and her modality is called lift on therapy, and what she does is she's able to tap into your subconscious mind with your permission, of course. And I went to session for a couple of reasons, but I was like, what else do I need to like go of? And she tapped in, and she was like, did her thing, and she was like, and this is virtual. She was like, "Oh, you have something on your dad's side." I was like, "My dad's side? I can't be, because short story. My mom and I used to have a bunch of conflict over the years, so I thought if anything, it could be on her side. No, it was his side, right?" And she was like, "Boom, boom, boom! It's 7 generations up of something traumatic that I had no idea was in me, that I inherited from my father." And I was like, what in the world? And it kind of made sense, because the day before I had like I'll be very vulnerable, right? And I had a huge breakdown in my car, just crying, bawling my eyes out. I was like, what's going on? Because at the time, I had less stuff happening to me all at once, emotionally, business wise. I was like, what's going on? And when she mentioned it, I went, well, that kind of makes sense. And we had to like let it go and whatever it was, and had to install new belief. But it was like afterwards, I felt like I had lit some weight was off my shoulders, and two, I felt euphoric, like I had let go of something that was trying to like just be let go back into the universe, right? And so I give more examples of this too, but we all have this stuff that we're carrying on that we've inherited before we were born, and that if we don't address that, it's only going to cause more chaos in our life, more what we don't want. And that's a hard thing for people to believe and accept, but it's the truth, because everything's energy, and you're more than just this physical body. But you got to go really within you to really let go of what's going on, then you can really have the life you want and, just, how do I say this, like truly be happy and be like, yeah, I'm living life the way I want. This is amazing. I got this. So short story.
It's a great story. It requires a lot of work, and again, nothing happens unless you really put in the work. So there's no turnkey solutions or a pill that you can take, and all of a sudden it just turn
Poof.
out like you want it.
Right.
Yeah,
And if there is, it comes at a huge price.
it does. And you
It'll
may
come at a huge
pay it
price.
now, but it may be, paid later. It's like it's deferred, a
Yep.
deferred payment. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Matt, this has been really great. I know it's getting close to this time, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I do have this, and that is, what would you like the audience to walk away with?
What would I like them to walk away with? Well, I will say this, and this is what's ringing true for me to say right now. You are way, way, way more powerful than what you realize. There's way more to you than you can imagine, and that you do have infinite power. I'm not BSing you as I say this. You have infinite power. You just haven't been using it consciously. You've been using it unconsciously up until now. You can use the infinite power to create a life that you love, not a life that you want, not a life that you like, a life that you love, and you can do that. And you are way beyond deserving to have that life. It's your life right now, and you can do so. And so, go out there and do it. And if you want help with it, hey, reach out to me and let's be on this awesome journey together to have the life for you and see what it looks like for you, and actually start creating and living it, being it.
Right. All right. And with that being said, Matt, how can they reach out and contact you?
One of the best ways they can do is check out our website. Is company's called A1 Solutions Group, so they can go to a1solutionsgroup.com. I'm going to call in. The number to that is 703-232-1523. And I do believe I'm correct. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's my Facebook name on there. It's weird. It's like M Dillingham 1, number 1 at the end. They can follow me on there and go from there. Yeah.
All right. And we have it up on the screen right there. So
Cool.
they will follow you. And Matt, this has been very informative. I like to say thank you for sharing your personal journey, and at the same time dropping all those jewels, those golden nuggets right there that will help someone turn their dream into a reality. But first of all, sometimes you have to plant, and sometimes you have to, what is that, de-weed the garden.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah, there's that part too. People don't talk about. It's like plant the seeds. I'm like, well, you got to de-weed the stuff you got going on too, because you need both. You can't just do one and be like, nope, I'm just gonna ignore that part. No.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Gotta do this again in part 2 because there's a lot more to go off of as well.
Okay, and we would like to have you back on the
Thank you.
program right there and share some more information for us.
Oh yeah, there's more to really help people out, especially right now with just the world. People need to know, like, just because of what's going on here doesn't mean you can't stop. I mean, it doesn't mean you'd stop. It doesn't matter what's going on. You can still go for what you want and you have it. You got the power to do so. Infinite power. Just gotta know how to use it. So.
All right. Well, thank you again, Matt. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Your support means the world to us. We'll see you in the next one.